People often say that having friends matters at every stage of life. But what if, after you turn 72, truly embracing peace means gently letting go of some old friendships? As we get older, the things we value slowly change. The need for busy social lives and constant togetherness fades. The truth is, you might not need friends in the same way everyone claims, especially not after 72. Choosing quiet moments and independence rather than filling every day with social plans can bring a deeper, lasting contentment. In this video, I want to share 6 meaningful reasons why letting go of friendships can bring more happiness now, and how breaking away from outdated ideas leaves you with more time, more comfort, and more freedom to live as you wish. This is not about closing yourself off. It's about finding freedom. It's about taking your days back, building a simpler, richer, and more peaceful life. Stay with me all the way through, because the last reason we'll discuss may truly shift how you see growing older and yourself. Let's get started. First, you no longer have anything to prove. For most of your life, you may have felt pressure to show up, to please people, to keep proving you belonged. But now, that chapter is behind you. You have given, loved, and accomplished many things. There's no need to chase approval any longer, especially through friendships that require your constant effort but offer little in return. Maybe, in your early years, you leaned on friendships to feel accepted or valued in a group. Those needs gradually fade with age. By the time you're in your 70s, you truly know yourself. You've built your story, and you don't need applause for it. Think about Bill. Bill spent most of his life working in a busy office, surrounded by clients, co-workers, and friends. But when he retired, most of those connections quickly faded away. He kept trying to keep in touch, to hold on to old friendships. Then, one day, he stopped and honestly asked himself why he was working so hard for friendships that never really saw him. So Bill let go and discovered a sense of relief. No more awkward chats, no more feeling out of place, no more wasting energy on people who simply didn't care. Bill learned something important. You don't need friends to feel complete. Not when you finally respect yourself enough to let go of what no longer serves you. Once you stop seeking approval, something even better appears: real freedom. Second, peace grows more valuable than being social. There comes a time when calm feels more precious than chatter. When you were younger, you may have loved a full calendar, calls to make, invitations to accept, always out and about. But now, something gentler draws you in, a softer life, a quieter kind of joy. You notice that not every friendship brings peace. Some phone calls feel burdensome. Some get-togethers do not refresh your spirit. Consider Susan, who is 76. She once filled her weeks with coffee outings, group messages, and dinner parties. But over the years, those busy days didn't feel joyful anymore. Her efforts stayed high, but her happiness faded. Some people only called to gossip, while others left her feeling drained and weary. Bit by bit, what should have felt social began to feel heavy and exhausting. So Susan made a change. She started saying no, not from anger, but out of wisdom. She began taking walks, reading, resting, and, maybe most important, enjoying her own company. For the first time in a long time, she felt calm and deeply at peace. This is the gift of this season of life. True contentment comes not from how many people you know, but from how gentle your world feels when you're alone. So if you find yourself stepping away from some friendships, don't feel bad. You aren't isolating, you're setting yourself free. Third, having fewer friendships means fewer letdowns. Growing older brings clear vision, and you begin to see something you might have missed before. Not everyone you called a friend truly was one. Remember the times you texted but got no answer, or gave more than you received? In your younger days, maybe you overlooked it, excused it, kept trying. But reaching your 70s brings new honesty. You see patterns more clearly. Let me tell you about Henry, who's now 80. He spent years organizing events, remembering birthdays, checking in with old friends. Slowly, he saw that most of his efforts weren't returned. He was always the one to reach out, always the one keeping things alive. Calls went unanswered. Catch-ups became one-sided. One day, Henry stopped blaming himself and started wondering why he kept trying so hard. That's when peace came, not by making new friends, but by letting go. Because with fewer friendships come fewer expectations, and with fewer expectations, disappointment has less room to grow. This is not about cutting yourself off. It's about clarity, about choosing those precious few who truly care, and releasing the many who maybe never really did. You don't owe anyone your time, attention, or affection, especially not those who walked away when you needed them most. Fourth, as you grow older, your time is more valuable than ever. When you're young, it feels like time will never run out. Endless days, more chances, so many people to meet. Once you reach 72, something shifts. You begin to protect your time, not just spend it. In earlier years, you may have filled your schedule with obligations disguised as friendships, dinners out of habit, calls made from guilt, gatherings you didn't truly enjoy. But now, each hour means more because you understand it's finite. Take Mary, now in her early 80s, once the life of every gathering, always saying yes, always picking up the phone. After a while, she noticed these conversations left her tired, not energized. The lunches felt dull, and the people around her seemed interested only in small talk, not meaningful connection. So Mary decided to slow down. She chose the quiet of a good book over lifeless chit-chat, the peace of silence over the need to please others. And in this gentle space, she finally felt free. Because once you stop giving away your time, you can spend it letting in more of the things that bring real happiness. So when someone asks to chat or invites you somewhere you're not interested in, pause and ask, "Is this truly how I want to spend the minutes I have?" You have earned the right at this stage to say no without guilt, and yes, only to what brings you genuine joy. Fifth, you discover that real companionship starts with yourself. One of the biggest myths about aging is that you need to fill your days with people to feel happy. But as you move through your 70s, you discover a deeper truth. Lasting peace comes from being at ease with who you are, alone. You've spent decades surrounded by family, co-workers, and social circles, but how often did those times mean adjusting, pleasing, or even pretending? After 72, crowds can lose their appeal. What you gain in return is clarity. Take Frank, now 78. For years, he kept his schedule packed with lunches, calls, and visits, trying to stay busy, trying to keep loneliness away. But he ended up feeling just as tired and still a little empty. He decided to slow down. Frank started walking by himself, reading at a cafe, sitting in quiet, not feeling alone, but feeling enough. He learned something beautiful. Real companionship isn't someone checking in. It's being content with your own company, whether anyone else calls or not. When you find comfort in your own quiet moments, you also attract others who respect your pace and your boundaries. So, if you worry that having fewer friends means you're missing out, remember, you're already complete. That sense of wholeness is a rare freedom that comes with time. Sixth, letting go gently opens the way to a richer life. After reaching your 70s, One of the kindest things you can do for yourself is to allow yourself to let go. Let go of the friendships that feel forced. Release old expectations that simply don't fit anymore. Let go of guilt for choosing calm over crowds. Because when you stop holding on so tightly to what weighs you down, you make room for the things that truly lift your spirit. Think of George, who's now in his late 70s. He once believed that staying busy with friends was the secret to a good old age, so he booked his calendar with calls, meetings, friendly visits. But after a while, he realized he was staying busy not because it brought him joy, but because he was scared of what slowing down might mean. George chose to stop chasing what felt empty. He began to show up for himself instead, taking walks, enjoying quiet, focusing on the simple things that brought him happiness. He found something priceless: freedom. Freedom to walk outdoors, to care for his health, to enjoy moments of stillness. Most of all, he found the freedom to live truly for himself, not for others. Letting go does not mean shutting yourself away. It means shaping a life that fits who you are now, not just who you once were. If you've been holding on to friendships out of obligation, fear, or routine, gently ask yourself, does this feed my spirit or just fill my schedule? When you choose peace, you find something more comforting than company, deep contentment. And that fulfillment doesn't come from others, but from within. As we come to the end of this video, I invite you to take a quiet moment to reflect. You don't need friends at 72 or older to feel whole, happy, or fulfilled. What matters is peace. What matters is using your freedom, spending your time as you wish, and living in a way that honors who you are now. Real joy is not about keeping up appearances. It's about releasing what no longer matters. You've earned the right to fill your days in ways that feel good and caring to your soul, to rest in quiet that brings you home to yourself. So, what part of this message spoke loudest to your heart today? Have you let go of friendships that no longer fit? Have you found calmness on your own? We would love to hear from you. Please share one thing you discovered today, or how you hope to use this in your life. Reading your stories gives us hope and encouragement. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. Your support helps us keep bringing you thoughtful content to inform and encourage you. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again in our next video.